Here's what people don't understand about television producers. We are not sitting around waiting to be wowed. We are managing chaos. We are juggling segment times, breaking news, guest cancellations, technical glitches, and we need the people sitting across from our anchors and reporters to be well positioned to help explain what's happening and connect to our audience so that they know more about a news topic or can get a better understanding of a situation that's ongoing. This is Think Like a Producer. I'm Jamie Maglietta, a former television news producer. I'm now a media coach and founder of On Cam Ready Media. We produce your thought leadership into content, and I also build out strategies by working as your fractional creative director to help you strategically position yourself online. This show exists because so many people have asked me, how does the media actually work? And there's a gap that's costing you opportunities. So if you're new here, welcome. Hit the subscribe on YouTube and be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. This way, you never miss an episode. Right now, this show is bi-weekly. I also have Unknown to Known, also bi-weekly, that talks to television producers, on-camera personalities, influencers about their journey from unknown to known. All right, let's get into this episode. Here's what people don't understand about television producers. We are not sitting around waiting to be wowed. We are managing chaos. We are juggling segment times, breaking news, guest cancellations, technical glitches, and we need the people sitting across from our anchors and reporters to be well positioned to help explain what's happening and connect to our audience so that they know more about a news topic or can get a better understanding of a situation that's ongoing. When I was producing, every single guest I booked was a calculated decision. How does this person work within the circle of that hour? So we all have this news wheel of an hour that we're trying to fill. You know, your A block, B block, C block, D block, E block, F. We have these sections in the show, and between each section is a commercial break. And the guests that we have limited spots for them. And we need to make sure that we're strategically selecting the right guests to hit the topics that we need to hit each day. In news, you have directives, but you also have stories that are guiding the conversation online and at your kitchen table in your home. And we need to make sure that we're helping push that conversation forward with additional news, relevancy, and point of views that will help you structure your own point of view around a topic. So the guests we pick, they need to really work. And so today we're going to go over a quick little checklist. So if you're someone who thinks, I should be on TV news. I am a person of newsworthiness. I'm newsworthy. I am bookable. This list is for you. I want you to make sure that if you're hearing this, you download my visibility bundle. The bundle, there's a link within my description. In it, I give you a camera ready checklist as well as a media readiness audit to help you see what the TV producers would see if they searched you online. I also have a QR code in that bundle to my Amazon storefront with curated equipment to help you look a bit more camera ready in your home. All right, let's get to this checklist. 1, you're easy to book. If I reach out to you on a DM or I email or I call you, I want to know that you're going to respond. So you need to be someone who's quick to respond, quick to reply. And if you don't have a media contact to handle those inquiries, that you get someone set up, either a PR firm, a publicist, or someone who can just manage your outreach, like a creative director, which is what I do. I'll help people manage their requests coming in. If you are a TV personality, a politician, a physician, you already kind of have the gist of what's needed to be on camera, but you may not have the responsiveness. So sometimes it's a great opportunity for a VA or an assistant to handle all inquiries if you are not ready to invest in that additional support. But you want to be easy to book. Some shows need someone last minute, and they'll find you online and say, wow, she's the expert I need. They'll reach out and say, we have a show today at 4 p.m. Can you be there? And it's 10 a.m. We're in New York. You're in New York, right? Can we get you there? You need to be in a position where you can easily say yes and you're ready to be on camera. So if you're someone who wants to be on camera, not only do you need to be easily booked, but you also need to have some media training so you don't mess it up because you want to be booked again. And that gets me to my next point. Number 2, you have a clear, repeatable message. Producers need to know what you're going to say before you say it. We don't want a script, but we want to know your lane. If you're political, we want to know that you're a Democrat, a liberal, we need to know where you stand so we can fit you into our conversations. So you need to make sure that you know your point of view and you share it online so that we kind of get a better understanding of where you're coming from before we book you. Another way we may do this is ask you for a pre-interview where we interview you over a phone or we send you some questions in an email so that we get a better understanding of where you stand. The thing is that, and this isn't part of part 2, but I will say it matters. We need to know how you're going to be on camera. So your clear message needs to be on social media, posts on LinkedIn, Twitter. There needs to be some live interview clips of you as well on YouTube. If you're hitting all these areas and you're being strategic about what you show and how you show up, we will get a better understanding of your point of view, how good you are on camera, your message, and whether or not you're going to be able to deliver your point of view within our 3-minute block of time. Now, if I'm looking for a podcast guest, I don't really need to squeeze you into a 3-minute block, but I do want to make sure that your points are clear, you're not going to talk too much, and you know how to get to the point. If you cannot tell a producer in one sentence what the audience will get by booking you, you are not ready. And that brings me to my next point. I've already mentioned this a little bit, but you really need to be camera ready without being high maintenance. I don't want to book someone if I need to media train them. Now, let's just say this. If you are the story, you're involved in the breaking news event, you are a principal in a horrific incident, and I want your witness account, that's different. I will do whatever I need to do to get you camera ready. But if you're an expert who wants media attention, you're putting yourself out there and you're like, I want press, and we book you, you need to know what you need at home. The worst is when I book someone from home and they don't have lights. And then they sit in a room with a messy background. There was once this person having all their medications on the counter behind them. I could see. And it's like, we don't have much time to clear the counters, but can you please clean the counters? And even when she did, she didn't get it all. And we're on air and there's like medications on the counter. You can see what drugs she takes or someone in her family. Like, you need to make sure that you have a clear background, good lights, and a mic at home if you're hoping to get some podcast conversations or press from home. I also need to know that you're going to be camera ready without high maintenance coming to set. The worst is when someone shows up and their hair's wet. It's like, wait, we're going to do some touch-ups, but the makeup artist and the hair care, they're not really going to be doing the full Monty here. You want to come with your hair dry, but available to maybe curl it if you have long hair. They can style it, brush it, however you want to make it look a little bit nicer, but they're not usually going to do a full glam squad unless you hire someone. They'll do some touch-up makeup. So you want to come semi-prepared for that. Guys, you always want to also think about, where are my oily spots? If you have a compact, bring it. Otherwise, they're going to try to match you there, and it may not always be the best match. So you want to be prepared for that. You also want to make sure that you look the part. Know your colors. We'll have a conversation on my podcast, Unknown to Known, about that. So be sure to look out for my color specialist. You also want to make sure you have the confidence to walk in there and you're not super nervous. And you're not going to have that if you're not practicing. So I always recommend that you can gain that confidence from creating content. I highly recommend that you lean in on social, start programming it like your own media feed, talk about topics that are of interest to you there on LinkedIn, show up on camera, give yourself a minute to give your POV, and that will help you tighten it up and start feeling a bit more confident, especially when you get some engagement on it. You want to look at thought leaders too. Of course, Mel Robbins is one of those great voices right now for her books and her podcast and her TED Talk. But before, Mel was a commentator on CNN. So when I was in the control room, Mel would be a guest and we would talk and chat because I wanted to make sure she was ultra comfortable before her hit. I wanted her to know that I'm there in case she needs anything before she would be on camera. And I would do that for every guest. I would talk them up, make sure they feel good, make sure they know what they're going to say, help them fix their outfit if they don't have anyone doing that. And when I would talk to her, she was always just so real and raw. And I love that that's the Mel you now see today. So you want to make sure that you are your authentic self, you're confident, you're not too much work, you don't require too much when you get there, that your background totally checks out. You know how to position yourself, frame yourself, light yourself if you're home. No producer wants to babysit you, so make it easy on them and be camera ready. You also want to work in time. As I mentioned, I may have a 3-minute block and I'm trying to have you and another guest. It's a lot. So you're really going to have very limited time to speak. So you want to make sure that you are thinking about what you would say in 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Again, why I believe you should be showing up on social media, recording videos, training yourself on how to give your point of view on specific news topics. I explain how to do this in my course, the Visibility Program. You can download my free visibility bundle to get you on camera ready. And there's a QR code to my course. You can access it. It is, I do charge for the course, but it is through that link if you're interested in trying to strategize your scripting or just follow along because I go through it here too. Not on this episode, but others. The television is a clock. You may have 2 minutes, you may have 30 seconds, you may have 5 minutes. Podcasts, they have a bit more breathing room. However, podcasts are also trying to be a little bit shorter, so you don't want to be too winded and talk too much. Producers will tell you this, and half of the guests ignore it. The guests who get booked again, they have practiced telling their story in 60 seconds, 90 seconds. They know the talking points. They know the news of the day and where they stand on it. They have a point of view, and they know how to weave in their points when they're talking about the news of the day and expressing their point of view. They know how to weave it back to their message without it sounding scripted, rehearsed, or salesy. So you got to practice it. No one wants someone showing up on TV news or on a podcast just selling their talking points. We want to make sure that you can deliver your point of view around trends, topics, and the news without pitching at all times. This gets me to number 5. When you are on camera, you bring your story, not just your resume. I don't want to hear, oh, I graduated from Harvard, making me an expert on this topic, and here's my point of view. No, I graduated from Harvard. I barely tell people. You don't want that. Or, oh, yes, I'm an astronaut and I've been to space, and here's my point of view. If that's what you are, I probably said it in the intro. So just remember, you don't need to always reintroduce yourself. Make sure that the producer knows how you want them to introduce you before you're on camera so that you also don't have to correct the anchor. I can't stand when a guest corrects the anchor. They're like, oh, well, actually, my latest book is this. Okay, well, you should have told us because we would have made sure it was there. Anyway, you want to bring your story, not just your resume. Producers don't book credentials. They book stories, they book moments, and they book emotion. And that's really when you're not the expert. We like to book the story, the emotion. We do need that academic background when we're looking for experts like lawyers, doctors, political analysts, people who can weigh in on specific topics and help our audience better understand the complex situation. If you are like a feature or breaking news, you need more of the emotion and the story. However, you do need the story like David Axelrod. I have a other episode where I mentioned David Axelrod. He has a very extensive political background. He has the story that can always tie to something that's in the current political landscape. He can reference back to what he did a long time ago. And that really helps legitimize his point of view. So if you have that, that's helpful. Excuse me. So you want to leave with your messy, real, relatable stories when you're pitching if you're not known to the media. But if you are known to the media, you want to share more of your point of view when you're reaching out. If you're DIY pitching or you're hiring someone like me from On Cam Ready to help you connect with the media, or you're investing in a PR firm, you want them to be able to sell you. And if you're not known to the media, again, it's all about your story, how you relate to the news of the day, the news of the time. And if you're already known, it's more about like what's your exact point of view on a topic and why you should fit into the news cycle right now. That's not, the hard rule, but that's essentially where you want to be thinking when you are reaching out. Give the producer a story, and then they can also build a segment around you. So, number 6, I want you to be someone who's known to promote when you're on and after the fact. Because if you're not promoting when something airs, it makes it harder for us to then say, yeah, let's bring her back. Well, if she's not telling anybody and getting her audience in, and we booked her because maybe she had a strong audience, then it makes it harder. So we want to know that you were happy to be on, you're sharing your hit with your friends, you're telling your audience, your newsletter, your social media, you're weighing in on it, and you're giving people the inside scoop. Because if we don't really know you, it makes us want to get to know you more and maybe bring you back. If we already know you and you're already in the media, you know what media shares are, and you know you got to share, because sharing your media is going to help you get more media. Media gets media. But when you're new, I just want to make sure that you understand you want to be sharing about your experience. I love when I see people sharing about like, oh, I'm in the makeup room and I got my hair done and now I'm walking out to set. I'm so nervous. Oh my gosh, I'm meeting, this anchor for the first time, or talking about what it was like afterwards, or doing a fit check. I think those are really great ways to promote yourself, legitimize yourself. Like, I'm going to be on national news. And then afterwards, post about it, share your clip. Always tag the news outlet, the anchor, the reporters, the producers, tag them, because you also want them to know that you're sharing. And if you thought your hit was so good, but you have more to say that you didn't get to fit in, I want you to send that clip to someone else in the media. Say, hey, I did this on X and I would love to have the same conversation on yours because I never got to say why. You need to have that strategy in place. You can be DIYing your own media outreach. But again, a PR firm or a publicist or someone like me is going to help you connect more. However, I truly believe you could do it yourself. There are many episodes on my Unknown to Known about hosting for press. People do it all the time. They post and they land media. So check out those episodes on Unknown to Known. Number 7, you make the producer look good. So this is something not many people talk about, but if you're pitching me, I want to know what the headline could be. I want to know what the elements can be. Like if you have visuals, videos, photos, I want to see it. And I want to know you've got it. And that should be in your pitch. Or if we're in a conversation, that's something you bring up. If you have a tweet that's gone viral that's related to the topic, I want to make sure I'm good to use it. And I want you to say, hey, that tweet went viral, but I didn't say X. Great. Hold what you're going to say. Don't post it on Twitter. Let's say that on air and then we'll make some news. Guests who become regulars are the ones who really are the producer's heroes. I used to have, I'll say, a former general. I won't give his name. He would text me and say, okay, I saw what's happening in this war. I saw the breaking news. I can come on air. When do you want me? And I would say, okay. Thank God he reached out. He's so great. And I need you in 29 minutes. Can you can you do this from home, or can you just call in on the phone? And he would. He knew when I was in breaking news and how he could be my hero. And that really is key. You're someone who's following the news, you know where you fit in the situation of the news cycle. And when you reach out, we're here, we're responding. You want to build those relationships, okay? Because that's really going to help you get booked and booked and booked. Be available, which I said at the top. And number 8, you need to be relevant. It is really hard when I tell people no. I feel bad. Like you're not relevant to the news cycle or you're not pitching me a relevant angle. Relevancy is my number one. And that's why I left it for number 8 because it's actually the most important thing. You need to be relevant. Your background needs to be supportive of your point of view. Um, I highly recommend that you are transforming your social media into your own media channel and sharing your point of view on news and trends so that when we're scrolling, when producers are scrolling, we can find you and say, hey, this is a great point of view. This is a great angle. I never even thought of that. Oh, and she has a great background. Let's book her. Let's give her a try. She's a new, fresh voice. I think it really helps if you have the academic background. I'm noticing that, more people with YouTube shows, podcasts, they are a little bit easier of a sell than just someone who shows up on social media, people who have thought about the whole brand packaging, which is why I do a visibility launch and I help people strategically position themselves online so that when producers are looking, they find them in all the right places and their branding is consistent. So be sure to grab my visibility bundle. It's free. I have a audit on how you can see what the press is going to look for when they look you up online. And I just want to make sure that you guys are positioning yourselves well before you reach out to a PR firm or press, because sometimes even PR firms have to take a pass if you're not consistent enough online. So let me be your secret weapon before media, before press, and help you package yourself and then connect you to the right people to get your foot in the door. I'm Jamie Maglietta. This is Think Like a Producer. This is a bi-weekly show. I do have a YouTube channel, On Cam Ready, where I'm going to be offering more videos like this, tutorials, mostly on technology to help you better understand how to start that podcast if you want to, or edit social media clips. And I'm also hosting Unknown to Known on my YouTube channel as well. That's interviews with television personalities, YouTubers, influencers, and people who have posted and landed press. If you are one of those people and you're listening to this, email us, reach out, grab my information from the description, and be sure to check out another episode of Think Like a Producer after this. I'll see ya.